Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Easy Research Talks. So, we are finally back alive on our weekly sessions, which we have been doing for the past, I think this is going to be our fifth session online. And we have been discussing a lot about communication. We have been talking a lot about soft skills, about how to develop your self and professional career, professional development. Uh, I think I cannot overemphasize the importance of communication, especially in this era, in this age where number one, a lot of us we have to struggle with unemployment, and even with that, we compete with computers. Artificial intelligence and all of that keeps uh, showing up, taking people's job. And a lot of research, a lot has been said about how communication would remain important. One of the jobs that computers can't take away from people is communication, because if you are doing any job that has to do with routine, jobs that anybody can do it, right? Computers can always do it better than us. If you are good at mathematics, if you are good at programming, if you are good at writing, all of these things, computers are taking and overperforming ordinary human beings. But communication, explaining complex ideas, persuading people, connecting with people, these are skills that computers can't take away from us. And that's why it is more important nowadays to hone the skill of communication. I'm saying hello to those guys on Instagram. Thank you for joining us again for another session on Easy Research Talks. So, as you can see from the flyer, the promise or the topic that we are going to be talking about today is an important one, which is the communication mistakes that affect growth. Like I said, all we are doing here is how do we improve our self-development, our promotional development. A lot of us have a lot of goals, ambitions that we are fantasizing on a daily basis. And we wonder, how do we get there? So we can start from simple skills, simple soft skills that we can, start to pay attention to, it's like they say, if you are going to heaven, right? And you put on a flip flop, a slippers, you are at least closer, even though an inch. So how do we start with this little inch of improvement on ourselves to get us closer to where we are going? And that's really what we are trying to do here. So today, we want to start talking about guys that are on Facebook. I encourage you to help us share this live session. Let it go wide to a lot of people, so that a lot of people can benefit from what we are about to discuss. Because really, uh, what we are going to be discussing today are struggles that every one of us go through. These are things that we battle with, right? So uh, you will be, benefiting anyone that you share this with. I understand this is not an entertainment session. This is not like a gossip or how do I say, like or dramatic sessions that people are used to on social media, right? So, but I feel that it's good to have a good balance of the two. We joke, we play, we entertain ourselves on social media. We can as well learn, you know. And like I always say, I am someone that believes in the idea of connectivism, and which actually means that the fact that we can connect on social media, the social media give us opportunity to connect with each other. We can as well learn from each other. You can learn from my experience. I can learn from your experience. We can give back to each other, not necessarily sharing money, not necessarily, abusing each other, gossiping, or, trolling each other online. One of the benefits of this platform, is to be able to learn from each other experiences. What are the things that you've learned over the course of getting to where you are right now? And how can you share it out, give it back to the community where others can also benefit from you? And that's the spirit behind what we are doing here. So anyone that has the opportunity to tag along with us, you have a lot to benefit, not because of me, not because I know it all, but because we want to create a platform that gives us opportunity to share experiences among each other. That's what we are trying to do. So like I said, the topic of our discussion today will be the mistakes that we do or that we overlook, and then it affects how we communicate. And because communication is so important, it's so important that you can't have a good day without communicating. Communication, a bad communication can lead to a bad day. Good communication can lead to a good day. Similarly, a good communication skills, if you hone good communication skills, you can, it's like halfway to your goal, halfway to where you are going, because no matter how good you are at whatever you do, if you can't communicate with people, number one, you can't connect, you can't relate. And also, it might be as well as, living your dream alone, because people won't know that you are good at what you are good at, because you can't communicate, you can't reach out to people, right? So now let's discuss the mistakes. Normally, what leads to these mistakes are our cognitive bias, the mistakes that we make, why we make wrong communication choices, right? Either in our business or in our personal life, in our social life, in our, even religious connections, whatever. One of the reasons why we are bad at communicating is because of our cognitive bias, right? So I want to start today's conversation. I want to start today's discussion by explaining what is bias, right? So bias is actually a way of processing information, right? A way of thinking, or I should say, wrong way of thinking, erroneous way of thinking, right? When it's a process that we all have, by the way, it's like a shortcut to arriving at decision, right? So we create this mental framework, mental blocks, mental schemes that we are always looking for information that fit those formulas, and quickly we arrive at our conclusion. So the problem is this bias affect the way we communicate, affect the way we relate to people, affect the way we think about our own success and failures. So I'm sure every one of us will be familiar with what are examples of bias. A good example that I always cite is the confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is the tendency to always look for something that agree with you. Every one of us, we always like to be right. So because of that bias, because of that cognitive bias, we are always looking out for information that will confirm our intuition. You already have an idea in your head that, oh, this guy is a pompous guy, or is a stingy guy, or whatever image that you create on people. So all you are doing, you are accessing that person's behavior, you're accessing your interaction with that person to confirm your own intuition. I am saying hello to everyone on Instagram. Thank you for joining us. Thank you a lot for joining us, as well as people on Facebook. We are also live on YouTube as well, so you can join on any platform. And I encourage you to share with as much as possible people. So I was talking about bias. Confirmation bias is an example, is a common bias that we all have, always seeking for information that agree with our intuition, with our own gut. That's what we do. So there are other forms of bias that also affect our communication skills. Why we can't communicate, why we can't reach out to people. Number one bias that I want to talk to you about today is the spotlight effect, right? So what is the spotlight effect? It is that thinking that you have whenever you have to do something, okay? Some of you, you have ideas of business. You have things that you can do. You believe in yourself that you can do it. But you are thinking too much inside yourself that, oh my God, I'm not good enough. You know, how is it possible that me of all people will be the one doing this thing? I can't speak in front of people. They will notice that I'm not good in English. They will notice that I can't speak very well. You know, sometimes we even think, oh, I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not handsome enough. So that spotlight effect is a cognitive bias. It's an illusion that we create in our head that people are paying too much attention to us, you know, and because of that, we are worrying, we are concerned about how they will judge us, and because of that, you sit back. You don't want to attempt your life goal. You don't want to attempt your ambition because you are worried of you are concerned about what people will say. I think I should add an anecdote of how this spotlight affect me myself. You know, when I was doing my PhD in Malaysia, uh, the way our PhD system work in Malaysia is that before you graduate, you must be able to publish a number of publications. And as at that time, the university does not specify on what quality of publication, just publish two publication, two papers. For those of you that you are not in the academics, publication is writing articles and publish it in some journals, and then you know your idea, what you are writing your PhD thesis on, get it published before you can be given the go-ahead for graduation. So I had this mentor in the university, somebody that I was very close to, and the person saw my thesis, he saw my writing, and it was like, hey, Ridwan, you can actually get this research in the top journal of your area, it's marketing communication. And I was like, oh, no way, you are joking. It's impossible. You see, I had the imposter syndrome. I don't believe in myself. I don't believe that. How come? Because I look at the journal, I look at the people that are writing there. There are huge, big names from the US. In fact, the editor of that journal is actually the propounder of the theory that I'm using in my thesis. The person that actually started the idea that I'm working on is the editor. It's like the gate man, the person that decides if your article gets published or not. So I couldn't believe somebody, a kid like me, I don't even speak English as my first language. You know, I'm not even very good at writing. How come somebody like me studying in Malaysia will be able to publish in this kind of journal? I didn't even bother to write the article. And the man continued, you know, to pester on me, to cajole me, to just encourage me to publish it. And I get back home and I told my wife as well, and I was like, you know, imagine what this man is saying. He asked me to send my article to this journal. I can't believe him. I didn't believe in myself, truly. But over time, the pressure was too much. I tried it out. Okay. He told me something like, you know, what's the worst that will happen? You send it, they will reject it, right? Nobody will beat you. Nothing will happen. After all, rejection will not be published to the whole world. It's only an email to you, so you handle it by yourself. And I was like, okay, that's a good deal. Let's try it out. I sent it. First month, second month, third month, no reply. Until one day, one early morning, I wake up to pray and I check my email. Lo and behold, I received a reply from the journal, although they gave me a major correction. But at least my paper was read and accepted. Unbelievable. You see? So imagine I did not listen to people that was encouraging me to go ahead and send it. I would have, you know, missed that opportunity to get my paper published in a quality journal, right? Because I was paying too much attention to myself. I was worrying too much, you know. So if you have a business idea, if you have anything you want to do, go out there and pay attention to your own skills. How can you improve? Rather than paying attention to your weaknesses. Remember what I said at the beginning. Cognitive biases are illusions, you know. They are not real. You are creating this thinking for yourself. You know, people actually are not, you are not that important. People are paying attention to themselves. We are all self-motivated people. Everyone is busy looking at themselves, how beautiful they are, how professional they are, how unique they are. That's what everyone is thinking about. So don't worry about your own weaknesses. Just get yourself out there and do what you want to do. Sometimes you have an opportunity to present in front of investors or people that can actually help your career. Or even if you are an undergraduate student right now and you have a strong CGPA that can earn you admission in good universities abroad, but you are thinking, I can't do it. I mean, I'm not good enough. I mean, who am I from these little universities in my village? Nobody will reply me. You are wrong. Just try it out. Just try it out. Okay? So, spotlight effect. If you notice it, only then you can overcome it. And that's the purpose of this discussion today. I want to encourage you to notice that imposter syndrome that we all have, thinking that we are not good enough. We are not just brilliant enough. People are better than me. People are smarter than me. I can't be the one to do this, right? If you can spot it, if you can realize it, only then you can start overcoming, getting ahead of it, right? So, guys, the first mistakes that we all make that is holding us back, that is not allowing us to grow, that's not allowing us to pursue ambition, goals, careers that we have, is because of the spotlight effect. Okay, so spotlight effect, again, I'll try to explain it. It is a wrong way of thinking that a lot of people are paying attention to you. They are looking at you into the details. They are going to notice your mistake. They are not going to notice your weaknesses. People will complain if I start posting about what I'm doing. I will be shy. People will wonder how come she's doing this. Don't care. Who cares? You have to overcome what they call the fear of people opinion. If you pay too much attention to people's opinion, you can never go anywhere in life. Okay, and it's not just what you do; it affects your communication too. You are scared sometimes to talk to people, right? Because you think, oh my God, I can't talk. What thing I want. God bless your instincts, sir. Thank you so much, Guy 2010. Thank you for that comment. God bless you too. So sometimes I always like to live in my head and imagine I meet, rich guys in the elevator. Sometimes I try to prepare what I'm going to tell them to make them interested in me. If you try that, it can always help you to notice, okay, I don't have an exciting story. How do you pitch yourself? Imagine you are in an elevator, you are in a taxi, and suddenly you run into, it can never happen, but if it happens, you run into Dangote, for example, and you want to get his attention. What are you going to tell him about yourself? What story do you have that will be exciting enough for somebody like that, the most rich guy in Africa, to listen to you and probably offer you an opportunity? So if you start thinking about that, then you will start noticing what you are lacking. Like what should you include? What should you start doing? What journey should you embark on? That's might be funny, but it's one way to overcome that fear that we create around ourselves. That we worry too much about what people say. Okay, you know. Number two bias is the false consensus effect. False consensus effect. That is overgeneralizing people's attitude and people's opinion and people's reaction. And we do this a lot when we joke or we give comment or we give opinion, right? We think that everyone agree with us, So one of the things that easily get people into problem is opinion, because you sometimes there are private joke that you have, things that you joke with, maybe within your siblings. All of us, we have nicknames that we call our siblings. And we have funny names, we have funny jokes that we make at home. If you have this bias, this thinking, this assumption that everybody will key in into that joke, and you go to the public and you express that joke, you will embarrass yourself, okay? Or you make that comment believing that, oh, everybody should actually agree with me. It might be wrong. So you don't want to overgeneralize your assumption that people will think the same way you are thinking. Okay, so this is what normally make public speakers, okay, embarrass themselves because probably you do not study your audience enough. You don't know what they like. You don't know what they don't like. Okay, so the idea here is that whenever you have an opportunity to reach out to people, okay, don't overgeneralize that this is who they are, or because they appear to you in a way, then automatically they will agree with your thoughts. Just like if you have never lived if you are not used to Sikh people, Sikh is a religion in India, and these people, they always have turban in their head, similar to what Muslims do, right? If you are someone that have never seen a Sikh before, seeing a turban might automatically mean to you that, oh, this person is a Muslim, and then you say salam alaikum to the person, right? That's an example of overgeneralizing consensus because he has a turban in his head, automatically makes him a Muslim. You are wrong because he's a Sikh, right? So if you have an opportunity to give a speech somewhere, do a little bit of research of what, in communication, we call this commonplace. You don't want to, or maintaining decorum, maintaining the public opinion, the general opinion, especially your audience. You don't want to, you know, offend the commonplace. You don't want to challenge a commonplace, right? You cannot be a good communicator when you challenge the commonplace. Or you go against the decorum, right? That's the idea. So as I was saying, today we are talking about cognitive challenges, cognitive bias that affect our communication, that does not allow us to be good at communicating with. One is because of the spotlight effect, the thinking, the assumption that everyone is paying attention, close attention to us. They are watching us closely, and they are going to notice our mistakes. They are going to notice our errors, our shortcomings, and all that. And because of that, we back out, we back off of, going all out or doing what we want to do, right? It could be in business, it could be in your social interaction, it could be in school, it could be, the opportunity. You could use this thinking to block your own opportunity of accessing your chance of accessing global opportunities. You might be thinking, oh, I'm from Nigeria. Oh, nobody will understand my English. I don't even speak perfect English. I don't even have American accent. I don't even have British accent. The reality is nobody cares. So far, they can understand what you are saying, because sometimes if you go out there, you will notice that even the primary speaker of these languages sometimes are not as good as you. They also make mistake in their expressions, So nobody pay too much attention. Do what you want to do. Overcome that feeling, that shackle that you are using to hold yourself down. Yeah. And number two, we said the false consensus effect. That is the overgeneralization of people's attitude and people's behavior and people's opinion, thinking that, oh, somebody's advertising, natural honey owes you a bottle of honey, my honorable. Natural honey owes you a bottle of honey, my honorable, full of insight. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I think it's commending that. Thank you. So I was saying the first consensus. Know the limit, the difference between, private jokes and public jokes, private comment and public comment. Sometimes people say, "Oh, uh, I don't know if you have ever seen a situation whereby if you have three friends, one of them might joke to the other friend, and the friend accepts the joke, right? But the third one key in into the joke, but this particular friend gets angry this time around. Why? It could be because you don't connect on that joke. You don't overgeneralize that because somebody has said this to the person, he will automatically accept it from you. So don't overgeneralize the assumption that people will think the same way. People will, agree to everything, every comment and all that. Number three is the false uniqueness, okay, effect. False uniqueness effect. And this is directly opposite of the second bias that I talk about. So what is the false uniqueness effect? It is the thinking that you are unique in a way, you are special, okay? And because of that, uh, you might be thinking, I can't do this. I can't be the one that is engaged in this kind of business. People can't find me. So far, it's not like a vice. It's not something that is not culturally taboo. Who said you can't do a business? What? Everybody is actually unique in their own way. So thinking that I'm too unique, I'm too special to get involved in these kind of things might, hold you back in life. And to bring it back to communication, sometimes we are holding back, we are shy, we are anxious to communicate in the public, mainly because we are thinking the struggle that we are going through is unique to us. The reality is that human being, we are so much connected in terms of our challenges and our troubles. You see, if people around you are not going through the same trouble as you are, if let's say everybody in your family are smart in terms of a book smart, maybe they are not smart in terms of street smartness, because there are two different types of smartness. Some people are smart in terms of book conceptual knowledge, but when it comes to procedural knowledge, they don't get it quickly. So maybe that is your own strength. So the bottom line here is that everyone has a struggle they are going through. Okay, so you are not unique in your struggle, you are not unique in your weakness. And what I found out is that, especially with my experiences living outside Nigeria, outside my culture, I always find it fascinating when I go to a new place and I see similarities of what I normally find back home in my culture. And that's one of the exciting thing for me, the opportunity of living outside your culture, that cultural exposure to compare and see similarities in our life as human being. For example, when we are back in Nigeria, when it's time for this the big festival, the Eid al-Adha, as we say, as Muslims, you see a lot of us, we are always like getting busy, happy to travel to our hometown and all that. And I got to Malaysia, and even though they do their own for the like Eid al-Fitr, like this particular Eid that is coming after the end of fasting, and the same way that people in the village are looking forward to people in the city to come back, the enjoyment, the fun that comes with traveling, road trip, and all that, and it always brings me back to my experience back home. You see, but beyond that, it highlights the similarities in all of us. And if you understand that, it gives you some confidence to approach people. Even the great guys, people you admire, people, the celebrities, all of them, they have struggles they are going through. You are not alone in your struggles. So don't hold back to express your opinion. Don't hold back to introduce yourself to people. The reason why people are not comfortable to socialize is because they think, I'm poor, I'm from an humble background. The reality is majority of the people you see are actually they are also from humble background themselves. Oh, I am not from their own background, so maybe I'm an outsider. My friend, regardless of where you are from, people in Africa, they have challenges. People in the US, they have challenges. People that grow up in the UK, they have challenges. People that grow up in the Middle East, they have challenges. See, their challenges might take up different shapes and different sizes, but the truth of the matter is that we all have family issues. We all have struggles. We all have weaknesses. That's the truth. So if you understand this, it helps you, it gives you some confidence to put yourself out there, to express yourself, because everyone has something to work on. So you are not unique. Everybody is unique in their own way. So don't look down on yourself that because you didn't do well in your university degree, and then that means you don't have an exciting story to tell people. Your story shouldn't be hard. It's wrong. Okay, you might not do well because of circumstances that you cannot overcome, or that is not within your control, right? But there are other things that you can do to show people that you have potentials. There are other exciting stories that can come out of you. So don't look down on yourself. You are also unique, and everyone is unique. And that's the idea. Guys, that makes it number 3. I hope you guys are following me, or you agree with some of what I'm saying. If you disagree, you can also comment. I would like to hear from your own opinion, what you think. So, we talk about spotlight effect, we talk about first consensus, first uniqueness as well. So, number 4 would be the serve as target bias. That thinking that life event are stacked against us. That victim mentality will hold you back in life. You just have to overcome the victim mentality. The idea that, oh my God, people don't like me. Oh my God, they are conspiring against me. They are gossiping about me, and all of that. So that thinking will affect the way you approach people, especially in a working environment. Like I said, people have issues, people have challenges, people have what they are going through. You might see somebody that, their personality is not like a cheerful personality. Maybe they are always frowning and all that. But that doesn't mean it's not you that they don't like. Maybe they have issues they are going through internally. So the problem with this is that every one of us, we assign, motive to public interactions, public issues. Things happen around you like this. Then you internally, you interpret it. You create a motive why it happened. Why did I greet this person and he didn't reply? Why is it that this person is always picking on me? You create the motive that probably because this person didn't like you, probably because they hate you, right? And because of that motive that you created internally, which is not, you don't engage the other person that you are creating the motive on, and you use that interpretation to deal with the person, to judge the person. So it's your responsibility, it's your fault. Because most of the time we are wrong in our internal interpretations, in our private conversations that we create, we create as a result of what is happening around us. So you want to get out of your victim mentality, orientation, right? You want to free yourself that life event does not necessarily have to be against you. When you communicate somebody, you chat with somebody on Facebook, for example, and they don't reply, you don't know what the person is doing. You don't know what they are going through, and you automatically decide that this person doesn't like you. Or sometimes somebody is giving his own speech, just like I'm talking right now, and somebody might create an internal story of what I'm saying and say, oh, this person is actually trying to talk to me. He is trying to bash me. You might be wrong. And because of that, you will be creating a lot of enmity with people based on your own wrong assumption, based on your own wrong interpretation of life event. So the number 4 mistakes that you can make, they can put you off, from connecting with people, from actualizing your social ability, is to have the self-target effect. Always thinking that things that are happening around you are stacked against you. People are conspiring against you. People don't like you. People hate you. People dislike you. And all of this thinking. Use your energy. Welcome, Eminent Bunu. Thank you for joining us. So all of this energy, use it to focus on yourself. Okay, just like I said at the beginning when I was talking about the spotlight effect, people don't have too much energy like that. Everybody's paying attention on themselves. So don't always think that these people, this person is talking about me, this person dislike me. I call him, he didn't pick up. Automatically, he hates me and all that. This thing will hold you back. You will always have enemy everywhere you go because you're always looking for enemy. You have trained your mind that everything that happens has to be against you. And your mind will do a good job to always show you enemy everywhere you go. And because of that, you might block people that will actually introduce you to better things. People that can make your life better. So that's why you want to do away with that victim mentality. It affects a lot. It affects a lot. Every one of us, especially I mean, all of us probably from Nigeria, we are very religious people, and every time our prayer point in mosque, in churches are enemy, father, enemies, 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 enemies. I'm not saying that you shouldn't pray against your enemy, but everything and everyone can be your enemy. That's the reality. It can't be like that. So if you believe too much in this idea of people are conspiring against you, you will lose opportunity. Sometimes you see people, one of when we are talking about socialization, one of the benefits that comes with socializing with people is social capital, social support, and that can be functional and it can be emotional. What I mean is that when something happened to you, you have your connection, people that know you, your family members, your neighbors, your friends, to support you, either to give you functional help or emotional help. Sometimes you just need people you want to rely on and share whatever you are going on, whatever is going on with you on. So when we have this victim mentality, it deprives us of this kind of benefit of socialization. You will not have people to talk to. You will not have people to share your trouble, your struggles with. And sometimes your solutions actually comes from nearby. People around you know what you can do. It's like, you have an ailment, you have a sickness, and you decide to hide it because everybody in my family don't like me. Everybody around my house don't like me. And so simple sickness might, turn out to be big because you didn't expose, yourself early on. That's the idea. You deny yourself of social capital that comes with socialization. You deny yourself of the social support that comes with socialization. You deny yourself of of emotional support, functional support that comes with socialization, just because of the self-target mentality. Always thinking that what people say, what people do is always against you, right? You are not always right. It's not always correct. Do away with that. Create positive motive. Train yourself to have positive motive, to respond, to interpret what is going on around you. Okay, you call somebody, give them positive reason why they didn't pick up, right? You message someone, he didn't reply on time. Create a positive interpretation of that situation. If you give yourself a negative reason that this guy doesn't like me, now he's pompous, now he's rich, then he doesn't talk to people anymore. You start enmity, right? So and that's the fourth mistakes that we do that affect our communication. Facebook people, try as much as possible. I encourage you to help us share it. Thank you for those that are sharing it. I appreciate that. So number five bias that I want to talk about is the illusion of transparency. Thinking that people know your mind or you know people's mind. When we are communicating and we have the illusion of transparency that people can see through you, this thing affects your confidence. I think the only time that it's valid to say that you fake it till you make it is when it comes to your confidence. You know, sometimes you are afraid to speak up. You know, sometimes you are afraid to talk in public. Sometimes you are afraid to start that business that you've been thinking, you've been fantasizing about because you think people can see your weakness, where what you can't do well. But the reality is that nobody can see what you are feeling. They can only hear, they can only hear what you say and see what you do. So if you can fake your confidence, if you can fake it, that I'm talking to you right now, looking as if I'm super confident. Meanwhile, I might be nervous inside me, but I'm faking it. You can't tell if I'm faking my confidence. Really, you can't. Okay? So you want to, as much as possible, to control your nerve. If you can control your nerve, that shakiness, that shyness, control it because people can't see it if you don't show them. So you are the one that you are showing people that you are afraid, you are shaking, and they know that you are afraid, and then they will, oh, okay, look at this nervous guy. So because your feeling, your emotion, your mind is not transparent, people can't see through. It's only when you say it out. It's only when you show them. So that thinking that people can see through you and know what is going on within you will affect your communication in terms of your confidence. You don't want to speak up. You don't want to express yourself. And if you can't express yourself, if you can't speak up, it actually affects your opportunity to get to where you want to be, right? So, guys, let me quickly summarize. We have been talking about the cognitive bias, brain mistakes, thinking, wrong way of thinking, wrong way of processing information that affect the way we conclude or the way we act or the way our attitude and our behavior. And I said one of the important attitude and behavior is communication because it's something that we do every day, right? And it's in the heart of our success. If you can communicate, you can be successful easily. So and I said one of the key bias that affects your communication is the spotlight effect. The thinking that people see too much of you, people are judging you. You are actually paying too much attention to yourself, or I should say, you are paying too much attention to your weaknesses, and you think that people will judge you based on that weaknesses. So that's that's one bias, that's one cognitive mistake, thinking mistake, wrong thinking approach that is holding you back or that can hold you back. Get out of yourself because everyone is thinking about themselves. Everyone is self-motivated, So nobody will actually leave themselves and focus on you. You are the most important person, just like you are important for yourself. Everyone is important for themselves. So now pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to how you can improve, rather than paying attention to your weakness. Okay, or rather than paying attention on your weaknesses, right? That's the first bias. Number two, the second one, we said it is the what did I say? Number two, I forgot. Number two is the first consensus. Now I remember the first consensus effect. That is the overgeneralization of people's understanding, of people's behavior, of people's opinion. Thinking that because I know something, everybody should know it, or thinking that because this thing is a joke to people in your family, and then everybody should take it as a joke. You don't over assume, it will get you into problem, especially if you are communicating in the public. Try to understand your audience. Try to access what they like, what they don't like, what can be said, what cannot be said. Especially now that, I always say that we live in a global village, and there's an increasing opportunity of you living outside your culture, right? So if you are going to a new culture, if you are going to a new place, this is where you don't want to assume. I've been in a situation where in my culture as a Yoruba person, nothing wrong in patting a young boy on his head, right? If you have a student, you can pat him just like this to say, hey, how are you? It's a form of greeting in my culture, right? But I got to Malaysia and I was in one of my classes. So I was teaching like the secondary school student. Yeah. So this particular boy was one of the best performing students in my class, and I wanted to pat him to like encourage him, like, oh, good boy. Few minutes after, this boy, burst into tears. I saw the change in his attitude. Hey, what's going on? And his friend started telling me that in their culture, okay, it's wrong to pat them in the head because it's an abuse. Just like somebody do this to a Yoruba person, it's an abuse, right? So these are some of these nuances and like small small details that can get people into trouble because you give a comment thinking that everybody will agree with you. You give a joke thinking that everybody will agree with you. You express an opinion thinking that everybody is thinking that way. It can get you into problem. So when you have an audience, try as much as possible to access, what they accept, what they don't accept, especially if you are living across culture or you have the intention of living across culture. What is acceptable in your culture might not be acceptable in foreign culture. You have to pay attention to that. That's what gets people into trouble sometimes. You know. Number three is the false uniqueness effect. Thinking that you are unique in your struggles, in your troubles, you know. And this one is the reason is one of the easiest way of killing your confidence. You know, we sometimes think that ah, I'm the only one that's overcome and going through this challenge. A lot of people are there with you. If you own the challenge, and be confident, you soon see people that are going through the same challenge with you. A lot of people have money issues. There's no one that doesn't have money issues. Even people that are rich, they have money issues. It's common that people have health issues. It's common that people have trouble in learning, right? Thank you, Idris Abalaji Mustafa. Thank you for the thumbs up. A lot of people have money issues. A lot of people have health issues. So whatever you are going through, there's no need to be shy about it. You are unique just like everybody else. So thinking that your challenge, the inability to understand some things that you are being taught in class, or the inability to be able to speak a language makes you, a mediocre or a dumb person. You are wrong. You are wrong. Okay? So if you can pick something, if something doesn't come easy to you, look for another thing that comes easy to you. You can still be great, You can still be whatever you want to be, regardless of if people around you are good at one thing. One of the sources of this thinking is education system, especially the way our educational system, try to define success and failure for us, as if sometimes if you are not good at one subject, automatically everything is over for you. It's not like that. Okay, you can be bad at one subject, mathematics, English, or what have you, and be good at the other thing. And even if you are not good in school entirely, you can be good on the street. What they call like extracurricular activities. If you notice that you want to focus on that, it's not important that you become successful in school. You can just don't be useless. That's my advice. Like I always tell people, just don't be useless. Be good at something, but not necessarily at what people around you are good at. Okay. So number 4, we talk about the self-target effect. The self-target effect. When you always think that life events are disproportionately directed towards you. People's actions, people's words, reactions are against you. And this will encourage you to be creating enemy and blocking out people from your life. And you never can tell when you are going to block people that will be helpful to your career. So be careful how you create enemy, how you tell yourself, how you develop the victim mentality, thinking that people don't like you, people will harm you, people are conspiring against you. It's not always true. Okay, relax. I mean, everyone have enemy. It's true. You can have enemy, but it's not everything that every people do or say is directed towards you. That's bottom line. That's what I'm trying to say here. reduce the internal interpretation, the internal motive that you assign to event or what people say or what people do that is directed towards you because he didn't call me, then it's my enemy. Because he didn't message me, it's my enemy. Or I posted my picture and this person didn't like it or comment on it. I mean, who fights with people about comment and like? Maybe this person didn't see it, or maybe they are busy when they saw it. Maybe they are driving. Do you want them to die? you know? And this silly comment or the things that we fight people about because of silly things reduce the victim mentality. It affects how you approach and connect with people, right? It doesn't help you to create friends, to make friends. And the final one is the the illusion of transparency, right? Thinking that people can see through your emotions, they can see your feelings. If you are nervous, people can know. So, and I'm telling you today that nobody can see what you are thinking. Nobody can see what is in your head. They can only hear what you say, and they can only see what you are doing. So, if you are in front of people and you are, biting on your nails, or you are finding it difficult to look people in the eye, they can tell that you are lying or you are nervous and things like that. So try as much as possible to control your nerve, right? Especially when you want to give public speech, especially when you want to meet new people, okay? Nobody can see what you are going through. That's the truth. So everything I've been talking about are bias, okay? Wrong thinking, wrong way of thinking that affects growth in our communication. And how do we go about this? When they say something is an illusion, it's like a mirage. If you know what is a mirage, if you are traveling in the daylight where the sun is very shiny, if you are traveling and you look ahead of you, you feel like there's a sheet of water in front, like there's a clog of water. And that mirage is an illusion. What happened? If you focus on it, you stare on that mirage, it will disappear. So similarly, I'm telling you today that if you notice any of these bias in yourself, any of these 5 bias that I've talked about, either the imposter syndrome or the false consensus or the false uniqueness or the self-target effect or the illusion of transparency, you notice any of these things in yourself, you want to try as much as possible to pay attention to it. Try as much as possible to pay attention to those bias, to those weaknesses, so that you can start working at, getting better at them. Focus on it. If you focus on it, they will disappear because they are illusions, right? They are illusions. Illusions are mirage. Mirage, it's something that appears like water in front of us, but it's really not water. You look at it very well, it will disappear. You want to also control, number 2, you want to also control your assumptions. Don't always over assume that people are talking about you, they are conspiring against you, they think the same way as you are thinking. These kind of things will get you into a problem, right? And then you want to control your nerve as well. Even if you are feeling, if you are feeling down about something, the confidence is not there. I want to end my thought today by saying, fake it until you make it. You can fake confidence. Look as if you are good at what you are doing, right? If you can try as much as possible to do that, eventually you'll be good at it if you can fake it. And that's going to be all from me, guys, today. So it's a quick one. It's getting late here, and we are in the last 10 days of Ramadan, so important night. Guys, these people on Instagram, I appreciate you, hanging on with us today. People on Facebook and YouTube, I appreciate your tagging along with us. You will definitely see us again, inshallah, next week, Friday, same time, with a new topic. You can also watch this back either on Easy Research Talks on Facebook or on YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel on Easy Research Talks. And we have a lot of videos there as well to watch. You can always learn. But the bottom line is what we are discussing here is The intention here is trying to give back, trying to help each other, to learn from each other experiences, and trying to share experiences on soft skills. Little things that we can't learn in class, but we can all benefit from. The one is just coming, and I'm about to leave. Thank you for joining. So goodbye, everyone. I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed talking to you all. I hope you also enjoy it, and I hope you benefit or get one or two things from this topic. And I will see you next week. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.